Greetings, YouTubers. This time we're going to cover something I see used and abused by Democrats a lot. That anemic little troglodyte, Jacqueline Glenn. Stan Cedar, the guy who likes Roman Polanski. Little Davy Packrat. Excuse me, I hit the microphone. Little Davy Packrat, the pimply-faced, retarded tween who got on mommy's computer and got a channel. Old Brown Teeth, the guy out there in California who doesn't have any teeth. He does it a lot. It's the, I saw a Republican doing something mean, vote Democrat. So we're not going to debate issues. Here's one prime example, the George Allen macaca thing. Or even the Roy Moore, did he not do bad stuff to minors? The campaign wasn't about, I wonder if Ted Kennedy's campaigns were ever about somebody driving off a bridge. Anyways, the campaigns weren't about real issues like, Social Security needs to be reformed, or, the police state, or wars everywhere all the time, all across the world, and our Army and Navy all over the place. The national debt, healthcare mandates, burying healthy people like me to spend a lot of money on healthcare I'm not going to use. It's not about real issues. It's about macaca, did this guy, have sex with minors? And so they use that, and when they find a Republican that does something bad, by golly, you vote Democrat because issues don't matter. So what this is going to do, what this video will do, and when I'm done, search my videos for Social Security must be reformed, and that's what you can challenge them on once you stalemate them. I see a lot of them doing that. They find, Trump said something mean. And I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Gary Johnson. Trump said something mean. That means you should vote for whoever the Democrat nominee is in 2020. Okay, yeah. So this will stalemate it. And then you can say, now that you're stalemated, we'll debate Social Security reform. Uh-oh. So they can autistically repeat all these bad Republicans, and you just stalemate them and keep pounding at them on Social Security reform, and eventually they'll debate you and lose, or they'll just leave. So here are several examples. A lot of this is in my article on Bernie Sanders, refuting pretty much everything that's come out of his pie hole before or after he had dentures. And I added some, and I've got all the links below, okay? So you can look at all this, and they're all saved just in case they go bye-bye at some point later. Okay, here's number one. A professor at Southern State Community College is under investigation after someone reported his June 13th Facebook post, which called for a mass shooting at the NRA headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia. James Pearce, the Southern State Community College professor in question, took to Facebook in June after the shooting at the Pulse nightclub with this call to action, quote, "Look, there's only one solution. A bunch of us anti-gun types are going to have to arm ourselves, storm the NRA headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia, and make sure there are no survivors," end quote. Pearce wrote, "This action might also require coordinated hits at remote sites," he also said, "like Washington lobbyists. Then and only then will we see some legislative action on assault weapons. Have a nice day." And that was the end of his spiel. Chris Cross, Director of Public Relations, that's an interesting name, Chris Cross, Director of Public Relations for Southern State Community College, claimed that the college's protocol indicates that local authorities will be likely notified about Pearce's threat. Violent rhetoric by an anti-Second Amendment nutjob. Uh-oh, so the next time there's violence against Donald Trump, who I did not vote for, or one of his supporters, we can blame Democrats and the mentally ill James Pearce, right? Number two. What about Kathy Griffin and her ill-fated attempt and to be truthful? Kathy only does this because she can't discuss issues. If I debated her on Social Security reform, she would fail miserably, especially if she was forced to use words with 3 or more syllables. She's Bill Maher and only looks slightly better sans makeup. Kathy Griffin and her ill-fated attempt to be funny by posing with a severed head that looked like a certain president. Uh-oh, can we fundraise off Kathy Griffin now? Can we jail Kathy Griffin if there's violence against any Republican poll? Registered Republican, Republican talking head? I wonder if Kathy Griffin will blame herself for any and all violence against Republicans because she blamed Sarah Palin Palin for the Jared Loughner Gabrielle Givers shooting in Arizona. Whoops. I've also included links to the archived versions of Kathy's tweets, which she deleted. Kathy Griffin, next time you apologize for shoving your feet in your mouth and your head in your colon, please put on makeup. Yikes. You are one ugly woman. Kathy, we even went so far as to delete her apology tweet, but not before the interwebs could save it for eternity. Vote Republican because Kathy Griffin. What if Rush Limbaugh had joked about Barack Obama being assassinated? BuzzFeed, the outlet behind the infamous and absurd Golden Showers dossier, has more than a bit of disdain for Trump, as proven through these leaked conversations from their private workplace chat. In screenshots exclusively provided to Big League Politics by former BuzzFeed employee Tim Treadstone Gionnet, better known as Baked Alaska, the website's director of social media. Macy Thornton wishes for Trump's assassination as co-workers laughed and cheered her on. Quote, maybe someone will assassinate him, said Thornton. Update. Shortly after that report was published, all three BuzzFeed employees implicated in the leak set their Twitter accounts private. Okay, after you read the entire article yourself, is saying, tongue-in-cheek, I hope someone assassinates President X ever a throwaway comment? The last time I heard that was from some bald-headed socialist named Russell Glasser. He was right in the middle of a rant that even he didn't know where it was going and yammered briefly about how Republicans are shafting themselves, not supporting higher estate taxes. When I debunked his estate tax garbage, he whined that it was a throwaway comment. Your entire life is a throwaway comment, Russell Glasser. So I guess you can say whatever you want, no matter how retarded, so long as it's a throwaway comment. Good to know. So vote Republican because BuzzFeed? Question mark. What if Michael Savage saw a picture of a prominent female Democrat kneeling and suddenly started making jokes about oral sex or a double entendre? For years, Democrats have claimed that successful women in politics have been barred by sexism from rising up to the higher echelons of power. They've claimed that women all over America are victims of a secret misogyny, the casual slaying in the war on women. And yet when it comes to Trump's senior advisor Kellyanne Conway, the sexist claws come out from the left, from Democrats. The latest example at the Pressa Foundation dinner on Wednesday night. Representative Cedric, Richmond, Democrat, Louisiana, apparently dropped an oral sex joke about Conway, thanks to her now infamous sin of kneeling on a couch in the Oval Orifice to take a picture of President Trump with heads of historically black colleges. According to IJ Reviews, Benny Johnson here was a joke. Quote, this is an exact quote from Congressman Cedric Richmond. Y'all seen that photo of Kellyanne on the couch? She looks familiar in that position. Richmond has now tucked his tail between his legs and apologized. I don't really care. It doesn't change anything, but I file stuff like this away just in case some Democrat like the phony Dr. McCain is through X, a.k.a. McStupidX, or Old Fart Rants in his brown teeth, tries to paint a political opponent as misogynist and then uses that as an entire campaign platform. Ted Kennedy drove off a bridge drunk and committed manslaughter. Vote Republican? Vote Republican because Cedric Richmond? Here's another one. Another example of guilt by association. Does this mean the Envirokook movement is null and void? Environmentalist whack jobs protesting the Trans-Pecos pipeline in West Texas are standing by their leader, who was arrested last week on various charges in California, including having sex with a minor in 2002. For your progressives listening, M-I-N-O-R, not minor as in like a coal miner, E-R. This is M-I-N-O-R, a person under the age of 18. He was convicted of forcible rape in 1984 and was a registered sex offender in California before assuming a false identity and moving to Texas. Washington Free Beacon says, quote, protesters were shocked this week when Pedro Rabago Gutierrez, who went by Pete Heflin while leading protests at the site of the Trans-Pecos pipeline in West Texas, was arrested and had his criminal history and true identity exposed. Gutierrez had not been seen since he was released on parole from California in 2002 after a long series of serious crimes. He was first imprisoned in 1984 on charges of forcible rape and drug possession with an intent to sell, but I'm against the war on drugs. According to the Houston Chronicle, Gutierrez was released in 1990 but failed to stay out of legal trouble, according to the report. He was re-imprisoned numerous times for parole violations and then convicted in 1998 for having sex with a minor. California authorities lost track of him after his 2002 parole, end quote. So-called renewable energy is a taxpayer-funded crock, excluding hydroelectric. I believe it should and can survive sans subsidies. But now it's really a crop because we caught this Envirokook felon. Vote Republican? Shall we keep going? Have I stalemated senile Sanders yet? Who was trying to fundraise off the Loeffner thing in Arizona. Here's another one. If Rush Limbaugh called for a John F. Kennedy-style assassination of Obama, Democrats would have autistic fits. Rush Limbaugh would be the face of the Republican Party. Every Republican would have to publicly renounce him, and he would never be able to be seen in public again. However, comedian Eddie Griffin encouraged audience members to assassinate Trump during a stand-up comedy routine in Dallas, Texas on Friday. This is some time ago. But Facebook doesn't want you to know that. Ben Ferguson, a radio show host who attended the show at the American Airlines Center, told the Federalist that Griffin made references to late President JFK's assassination, saying, quote, "Y'all took out one president, you need to take out another," end quote. He also said, y'all need to put Trump into a convertible and take him out, or better yet, the driver should take him out, end quote. He continued, Ferguson streamed portions of the show via Facebook Live, but the social network removed the video containing Griffin's remarks within 24 hours, which is their right, and I don't blame them for taking it down because they probably didn't want the FBI bothering them. When Ferguson attempted to access his Facebook account on his phone the next morning, he had been signed out. When he logged back into his account on his desktop, there was a notice from Facebook the video violated their community standards. Ferguson believes Facebook's decision to remove the video, which had at least 100,000 views, is censorship. It's not really, because First Amendment, Congress shall make no law. It doesn't pertain to Facebook, so they can remove this if they want. And personally, I don't blame them. I'm not saying Facebook is biased one way or the other necessarily, even though, no, I'm not going to go there. But I would have removed it too. Eddie Griffin, a man who got hit not only with the ugly stick, but the ugly sequoia, made that statement. He's the face of the Democrat Party. This is what happens when one cannot debate issues. I already mentioned the First Amendment thing. Congress shall make no law. Not Facebook, not YouTube, but Congress. It's not your dang website, so quit whining. Go start your own Facebook and post whatever you want and block whatever you want. It's akin to insisting that I'd have to let some fat Democrat into my home to filibuster for hours, forcing me to listen to his nonsense. No, I don't have to do that, and he wouldn't even get in the door. Moving on. Hillary Clinton reminded America that our kids are watching Donald Trump, and he's too toxic for them. Here's a rebuttal of that. Again, see the links under the video. Here's a rebuttal of that featuring Hillary Clinton supporters going bonkers. Remember, our kids are watching. If Rush Limbaugh said anything half that bad, and have no problem with them saying it, but sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. If Rush Limbaugh said anything like that, the progressives would be having bipolar fits. One could probably do an hour video on Madonna alone flapping her pie hole. Hey, Madonna, F you is not an argument. We're going to prosecute you for an opinion is not an argument. Setting cars on fire, throwing a fit, busting windows is not an argument. Film at 11. Here's another one. Hey, Bernie Sanders, can you fundraise off this? A professor who made an alarming statement on social media that all I want for Christmas is white genocide is now blaming everyone except himself for the criticism that erupted from the apparent inducement to violence. The statement came from Drexel University's George Ciccariello Marr and came to the public through Twitter on Christmas Eve. Note, he said all he wanted for Christmas is white genocide. The College Fix, reported there were a number of reactions, including that from Drexel officials who said they were seeking a meeting with this dingbat because, while the professor certainly has the right to freely express their thoughts and opinions in public debate, his comments probably went over the line. They are, the college said, utterly reprehensible, deeply disturbing, and do not in any way reflect the values of the university. Noted Thomas Lifson in a column at the American Thinker. The university is now on the spot. Will it allow the professor to continue teaching after expressing a desire to murder his Caucasian students? Is that a forgivable offense? What about safe spaces for Caucasians on campus? Wait a minute, was the professor's response. It was all satire, he told the Drexel student newspaper. This human dunghill then went on to blame everyone but himself and even equated the response to his tweet as racist and even misogynist. Who knew the mentally ill were teaching classes at Drexel University? So, vote Republican because of that? What if Rush Limbaugh joked about Oboingo's plane crashing? I assume the janitor McCain through X, a.k.a. McStupidX, and Old Fart Rants, and the brown spots all over his bottom teeth, would upload 43 videos over how mean Rush Limbaugh is and how he needs to be off the radio. Well, a few employees at CNN did joke about Donald Trump's plane crashing. Vote Republican. Ted Kennedy drove off a bridge and committed manslaughter. Vote Republican. Gary Studs was a pedophile. Vote Republican. Don't debate issues. Don't debate the national debt. Find an ethical lapse in your opponent, which instantaneously qualifies you for whatever office you're running for. Moving on. There's more. We're still going. If Rush Limbaugh said, quote, all feminists are child rapists and should be shot, end quote, what would happen? Well, an incredibly ugly woman by the name of Julie Bindel, kind of looks like a man though, Julie Bindel said that all men are rapists and should be put in prison and then shot. Okay, Julie, I'm a man. Come over to my home. Notice this is contingent upon you coming to my home and on my property. Come over to my home and mete out that punishment. We'll see how that works out for you, old man. I saved the screen caps of her hateful rant just because she did yank it off of there. She may need a dose or 3 of Risperdal. If someone says she was trolling you, okay, what if a Republican said the same thing about a Democrat president being assassinated? If they said they were trolling you, would you accept that? No. Ergo, the she was trolling you response doesn't work. Julie Bindel looks like a man, a mentally ill man. You want more? Yes, you do. Speaking of rapists, Bill Clinton's wife, Hillary Clinton, recently scrubbed a sentence, this was a while back though, from her website that read pertaining to rape victims, mind you. Quote, you have the right to be believed, end quote. Whoops. This isn't the first time Hillary Clinton has believed someone. The other case was a supposed hate crime that turned out to be bogus. This isn't the first time Hillary has believed someone and it turned out to be false. Paragraph above proves nothing, but it is funny. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when the Clinton campaign realized that others were going to drag Bill into that. Hilarious. So vote Republican because of that. Or maybe vote Libertarian. What if Rush Limbaugh had said, quote, am I a bad person if I hope John Podesta slips in the bathtub, calls 911 and nobody answers, end quote? He didn't. But the New York Times' Thomas Friedman did say that about Grover Norquist. If Rush said that, YouTube's bipolar nutcase, jackass Glenn, would probably talk about it for a week. So vote Libertarian because of that. What if Rush Limbaugh had said, quote, we have to really reach out to those who might consider voting for Hillary Clinton and say, this is Joseph Goebbels. This is the final solution. If you're voting for her, I will have to shoot you before Election Day, end quote. Rush did not say that. But ACLU stooge, and if some GOP staffer had said this, it would still be a big deal to antique media. So the Rush is a big fish and this guy is a small fish argument will not work. Rush didn't say that, but ACLU stooge Loring Wirbel did. Will YouTube janitor McCain is through X, aka McStupidX, upload 47 videos on this as she would if Rush said something she thought was racist? What if, here's another one. What if Rush Limbaugh suggested that everyone who is for homosexual rights had to engage in homosexual anal sex? You might be asking, why on earth are you talking about that oddball stuff? Well, some clown from Coppin State University, D. Watkins, suggested that before you are allowed to own a gun, you have to take a bullet. And how exactly would that stop the black-on-black murders that happen regularly in the hood? How would that have prevented Dylan Roof from going on his rampage? So vote Republican or vote Libertarian because D. Watkins. Next. Uh-oh. Remember when Sarah Palin, and if Rush Limbaugh did the same thing, there would be heck to pay. Remember when Sarah Palin was blamed for the Loeffner shooting? Well, a progressive group is raising money to put up a billboard to, quote, take out, end quote, Rep. Steve Scalise, Republican Louisiana, who survived being shot while practicing at a baseball field in Alexandria last June. The homepage of Mad Dog PAC's website has a photo of the proposed billboard with a link asking sitegoers for donations. On June 14, 2017, Scalise and several other Republican congressmen were practicing for the upcoming annual congressional baseball game at a field in Alexandria, Virginia, when a gunman opened fire on the members and shot Scalise in the hip. Before opening fire, the shooter asked for the baseball players' party identification and identified with far left politicians and causes. For weeks after the shooting, Scalise's recovery was uncertain. Dog PAC chairman Claude Taylor told the Ledger that his group was planning to toss mortars at the other side. People know that Trump is a crook and we're going to do something about it, Taylor said. We are tossing mortars at the other side. We're not offering policy prescriptions, so you can't debate issues. We're attack dogs and that's what we're here for. We don't debate. Well, he didn't say that, but he might as well. He might as well said we don't debate. Claude Taylor, is he on medication? In 2011, the New York Times editorial board falsely claimed Sarah Palin had caused a shooting at a campaign event for Gabby Giffords after Palin's PAC posted a picture of several Democrat representatives' districts inside gun sites. Although it was never proven that the shooter had ever seen a map, pundits bashed Palin about it, as Mulling Hemingway noted last summer. Hey, that's all good and fine, but let's see a few bipolar fits from Democrats when Republicans or Libertarians use the same language. The autistics at Mad Dog have altered the photo of Scalise now, just featuring the billboard, and have removed the takeout Scalise. So vote Republican or Libertarian because of the Mad Dog PAC. Next. If Rush Limbaugh had casually said, quote, I wouldn't mind seeing insert name a Democrat here, dead. Old Fart Rants and the janitor, McCain Rex, would upload 33 videos on it. It would be the greatest reason to vote Democrat ever. However, at a public event on the rule of law in a time of polarization, a Northeastern University professor told the audience that he wouldn't mind seeing President Trump dead. And I'll shorten this a little bit. It was Barry Bluestone. He said, and I'll skip down to the money quote, this president we have is really out of control. Did he say he had a phone and a pen, though? This president we have is really out of control. Sometimes I just want to see him impeached, Bluestone remarked. Other times, quite honestly, I hope there are no FBI agents here. I wouldn't mind seeing him dead. But actually, I don't want. And then Kuttner, seated to his left, quickly interjected, supplying the qualifier of natural causes. So, Barry Bluestone, vote Libertarian because Barry Bluestone. Again, I have a link to the story there. You can read the whole thing for yourself. What if Rush Limbaugh compared an Obama nominee to a horse? Well, Democrats would demand he be fired from his own show. Well, rude Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat Rhode Island, compares CEQ nominee Kathleen Hartnett White to a horse during a committee confirmation vote. I'm sorry. He's at least inventive. Senator Barrasso responded by calling the comment of horse's ass Senator Whitehouse disturbing, demeaning, and dehumanizing. I'm sorry, I'm going to leave that in there too. But they would have a cow. And they would, and if he was a senator, he would, it would be the macaca moment. But will Sheldon Outhouse have a macaca moment? I doubt it. So vote Libertarian because of Sheldon Outhouse. Here's another one. Is Sally Kohn a man? More important than Sally Kohn's manliness, is he a racist and sexist? Ben Shapiro thinks so, and I concur. What if Rush Limbaugh said, I have a list of wonderful white male candidates for political office? And that's what Sally Kohn did. Go read it for yourself. It'd be the same thing except insert a different race. I mean, good grief. And she didn't see the irony in this. I mean, Sally Kohn is a stupid man. Here's another one. Texas State University student newspaper column calls for white death because it will be liberating. Vote Republican because a mentally ill person called for white death. Derp. If this guy's name was Milo or Rush Limbaugh, we might have a story on our hands. Now that a fifth allegation of sexual abuse has been leveled against the homosexual married, quote, mayor of Seattle, Ed Murray, the beleaguered Democrat and prominent LGBT leader announced his resignation effective today. This is a while back. Murray announced earlier this year as sexual abuse claims mounted that he would not seek re-election but would serve out his term. So vote Republican because Ed Murray. Or heck, just vote Libertarian. Here's another one. What if Rush Limbaugh said after Hurricane Sandy hit New Jersey, quote, I don't believe in instant karma, but this kind of feels like it for New Jersey. Hopefully this will help him realize the Democrats don't care about him. End quote. Well, Rush Limbaugh didn't say that, but Kenneth Story, visiting assistant professor at the University of Tampa and also teaches at Hillsborough Community College, Kenneth Story did say that, and he used Hurricane Irma as an example of karma in Texas, which votes overwhelmingly Republican. Just keep that in the queue for raging Democrats who use mean Republicans, libertarians, or whomever as a reason to vote Democrat. Bill Clinton is a rapist. Vote Republican. Compelling argument, eh? Here's another one. If Rush Limbaugh or any Republican poll anywhere had hoped for Oboingo's assassination, Old Fart Rants would upload 23 videos on it, taking the moral high ground against such insidious characters. However, that didn't happen. But what did happen, a Democrat state senator in Missouri hoped for President Trump's assassination in a Facebook post that was later deleted. And she rebuked calls to quit by saying, "There's no way in hell that I'm resigning." State Senator Maria Chappelle Nadal, 42, and this is an ugly woman. She looks a lot older than 42. Responded to a Facebook poster's comment on possibly being visited by the Secret Service by saying, "No, I will. I hope," she said again, "I hope Trump is assassinated." Her comments, coming on the heels of President Trump's remarks on the Charlottesville violence, were reported by KMOX-AM in St. Louis. Chappelle Nadal was first elected to the Senate in 2010 after serving 6 years in the Missouri House. Her Facebook statement were saved and posted on Twitter by the station's Mark Reardon. So vote Republican because of this idiot in Missouri. Here's another one. If Rush Limbaugh said something like, quote, "Okay, backing up number 8, if any black person at your work or as you enter in spaces, listen carefully and look at the links. Okay, quote, "Okay, backing up number 8, if any black person at your work or as you enter in spaces and you overhear a black person praising the actions from yesterday, first get a picture. Get their name and more info. Hell, find out where they work. Get them fired, but certainly address them, and if you need to, you got hands, use them." End quote. Okay, if Rush Limbaugh did pen something like that, it would be in English, not ghetto or ebonics, but you get the picture. However, a mentally ill Chanel Helm did, bad English included. Read it for yourself, folks. She was obviously educated in a decaying inner-city public school due to her horrible grammar. I am no English major, but this makes me feel sorry for the fat feller. Looking at all of Chanel's demands, if the white family, and go read it for yourself, if the white family is minus the father figure and has bastard children sitting around playing video games all day doing nothing, do they still have to will their property to a black or brown family? Just wondering. Anyone wanting to accuse white America of violence and racism, I have plenty of examples to stalemate you now, and we can debate a real issue, Social Security reform. Good luck. So, if you got a Democrat saying, "Oh, I just heard about this. I'm a butthurt." It's argument by butthurt. I'm butthurt over something this Republican said. Vote Democrat. Use all these examples. Throw this at them. Then watch my video on Social Security reform. Learn it. Love it. And you will defeat them on that. So there you go. If you got some Democrats saying, "Vote Democrat because of this, because we're butthurt over this," now you have a spoil to that. Have a nice day. And don't thank me now.